Will everyone please join me in Gassho? How joyous I am, Futoku Shindan, disciple of Shakyamuni. Rare is it to come upon the sacred scriptures from the westward land of India and the commentaries of the masters of China and Japan. But now I have been able to encounter them. Rare is it to hear them, but already I have been able to hear, reverently entrusting myself to the teaching, practice, and realization that are the true essence of the Pure Land Way. I am especially aware of the profundity of the Tathagata's benevolence. Here I rejoice what I have heard and extol what I have attained. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Good morning, everyone. How joyous I am, Reverend Tadao Koyama, to be here with all of you today. All of you can probably feel the wonderful energy in the room. All of us are probably filled with happiness and joy as we celebrate the birth of Siddhartha Gautama, who would later become the historical Shakyamuni Buddha. Why are we feeling this joyous energy and this wonderful feeling today? Well, it could only be because we have the beautiful Hanamido here in front of us, decorated by our wonderful, irreplaceable, and temple would be lost without them, Buddhist Women's Association. So can we all please give a hand to the Buddhist Women's Association for decorating this beautiful Hanamido. Today is a joyous day as we celebrate the birth of Siddhartha Gautama. And as we all know, the birth story of Siddhartha Gautama is very beautiful, shrouded in myth and glorious images. And if you are interested, you can actually take a look, let's see, to your right. So you're facing me, so to your right. So as we have here, the story of the historical Buddha depicted on the wall right here. The first two images closest to David here, and one more, talks about the birth of Siddhartha Gautama, the prince of Queen Maya and King Suddhodana. As we all know, Queen Maya was on a pilgrimage back to her homeland, which is now today Nepal, and stopped in Lumbini. And she had a dream. She had a dream of a white elephant, So sometimes temples actually have these cool wooden white elephants around too. But this white elephant came to her in a dream and entered into her right side. And then the very next day, she gave birth from her right side, Prince Siddhartha Gautama. After the prince was born, right after the prince was born, the baby took 7 steps, and with each step, flowers blossomed. And the other sign that was the auspiciousness of this day was the falling sweet rain. So people sometimes wonder, why on this particular service do we pour sweet tea over the Buddha's head? And we usually are very used to offering incense, and offering incense is very good. But on this day of Hanamatsuri, on the day of Prince Siddhartha's birth, sweet rain fell from the sky, which basically marked this auspicious occasion. After the young Prince Siddhartha took the 7th step, he pointed to the heavens and to the earth and said, "I alone am the exalted one. I alone am the exalted one." Now, this might seem a little egocentric, right? Like if my father heard me say that, he probably would go, "What?" But again, this is a birth story. This is a birth story. I am certain every single mother here in the temple knows the birth story of their child and can probably recite it from memory. And I know that my mother has told many of our relatives and our friends the birth, my story of my birth and the difference between my birth and my brother's birth. You probably have all memorized it, and maybe some details here and there got embellished along the way. Maybe it was like at midnight, or maybe sometimes like you had to like jump in the car and drive off, right? And it's not that this story isn't true, of course, but it's that we show the brevity and the seriousness, but also the joy, the immense joy that was felt throughout the world and the kingdom after Prince Siddhartha was born. It's so interesting, isn't it? We live here in the United States, and we are not a majority Buddhist country, and we actually, as it so happens today, for outside of the Buddhist faith, there is also a big celebration going on. Does anyone know? Easter Sunday. Does anyone know what Easter signifies? Yes, very good. The resurrection, right? So after Jesus supposedly passed away, 3 days later, on Easter, which is celebrated on Easter Sunday, they saw that Jesus had risen from the grave. So it's very interesting that we have other religious stories as well that celebrate during this time. And then in the previous month, there was another holiday that was celebrated. Does anyone know what period was celebrated as well? A couple weeks, maybe about a week or so ago. Yes? Ramadan, very good. Ramadan's another spring solstice or springtime holiday, religious holiday that's celebrated in our country as well. And during that time, and let's see how many of the Dharma students can do this, you are not allowed to eat past sunrise until sundown. You have to not eat. Who here can do that? Maybe if you put your mind to it, you could do it. But here today, we are celebrating the auspicious birth of Prince Siddhartha. Now, why, as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, do we celebrate Hanamatsuri? It's very easy to get kind of caught up in our own selves, right? Caught up in our own sect. We put our hands together and say, Namo Amida Butsu. We don't really often, talk about or, sometimes say that we are followers of Shakyamuni. But from the quote I said today, we saw that our great teacher, Shinran Shonin, our great teacher, our founder, declared openly that he himself was a disciple of Shakyamuni Buddha, as we all in the congregation are disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha. Even though Shakyamuni Buddha has long passed over 2,500 years ago, we are still disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha. This is because the teachings of Amida Buddha, the Pure Land, all of these things that we take for granted or that we come to or listen to every day come from Shakyamuni Buddha. The Shakyamuni Buddha taught these lessons on Vulture Peak and other places as well. We must also always remember that Shakyamuni Buddha is the Buddha who gave us this teaching of Amida Buddha. We must always remember that while we have a very specific and a very precise and understanding of what our practice and teachings are, they still came from Shakyamuni Buddha, from the young Prince Siddhartha. This is why we constantly celebrate the many auspicious occasions of the Buddha's birth into this world, his enlightenment, and his passing into parinirvana. For if Shakyamuni Buddha did not come to this world, how then would we be able to listen to the teachings of the Nembutsu? If Shakyamuni Buddha had not come into this world, would our temple even exist today? These are very deep questions, and we offer many thanks to the joyous occasion of Siddhartha Gautama. But of course, while many of us may think about these deep questions, this is also a time for celebration. Now, for the Dharma School students, when you have your birthday, what do you usually eat? What? Cake, very good, cake, yes. You eat cake. And so and you probably like chocolate cake. Do you like ice cream with your cake? Do any of you, no, you don't like ice cream with your cake? Any ice cream with your cake? So these are all the rituals that we observe every year. We have cake, we have ice cream, and of course, what do you do with the birthday cake usually? Candles, right. And what do you do with the candles? You blow them out. Isn't that funny? Because guess what? Guess what nirvana means? What does nirvana mean? Nirvana literally means to blow out a candle, to blow out the candle. That means that you are free of your attachments. So maybe every single birthday or every single birthday party you have, maybe just for that day, when you blow out your candles, you free yourselves from your attachments. I'm not sure about that because the birthday candles usually mean what? A wish, right? Or maybe for the Dharma school students, your wish is to extinguish your blind passions, to free yourselves from your attachments. Yes? No, you're probably wishing for the PlayStation 5 or 6 if it comes out, probably wishing for the next generation phone, or actually for your high school kids, maybe you're wishing for a car, right? These are wonderful occasions that we have and wonderful rituals that we do that comes up with the birthday. We have a party sometimes. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we weren't able to have too many parties, but now we can have parties again. We can have cake. And of course, we associate Hanamatsuri with birthdays as well. And of course, this will be my first Hanamatsuri here as the minister of Tacoma Buddhist Temple, experiencing the full-on Hanamatsuri service with you all. So I am very eager to see what the Dharma school students have in store for us downstairs, and of course, the wonderful potluck to follow. This is a joyous occasion where we should be celebrating and having wonderful flowers and celebrating and of course, spending wonderful time with each other, eating with each other, and of course, just very happy within ourselves that Prince Siddhartha was born on this day. We all have our own birthday rituals. We all have the things that we do, whether it be cake, ice cream. But for us here at the Jodo Shinshu Buddhist Temple or at Tacoma Buddhist Temple, we come and celebrate with the decorating of the beautiful Hanamido and pour sweet tea over the Buddha's head. We constantly remind ourselves of why we are here. As much as we love and celebrate and have these wonderful, beautiful flowers in front of us, we are also here to remind ourselves of our gratitude, of our deep gratitude for the birth of Prince Siddhartha, to bring us such wonderful teachings, to bring us wonderful practices that we all may live by in this daily life that we live. As we continue to traverse this path of life, there will be times that we stumble and fall and bumpy roads along the way, but that doesn't mean that from time to time we can't stop and celebrate a wonderful occasion, just like the birth of the founder of our world religion, Shakyamuni Buddha. So I would like to thank you all today for coming and celebrating with all of us. We have a wonderful program ahead of us, and I can't wait to taste all the delicious food downstairs, but I also can't wait to see everyone offer sweet tea to the Buddha, and I am very eager to continue celebrating Hanamatsuri with you in the years to come. So thank you everyone for joining us for today's service. Please join me in Gassho. How joyous I am, Gotoku Shinran, disciple of Shakyamuni. Rare is it to come upon the sacred scriptures from the westward land of India and the commentaries of the masters of China and Japan, but now I have been able to encounter them. Rare is it to hear them, but already I have been able to hear. Reverently entrusting myself to the teaching, practice, and realization that are the true essence of the Pure Land Way, I am especially aware of the profundity of the Tathagata's benevolence. Here I rejoice in what I have heard and extol what I have attained. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Tsnam Manda Tsnam.